It is not quite 7:30 in the morning. It's a little earlier than usual, partly because I've been up since 2 o'clock this morning. So if I start to kind of yawn like crazy or whatever, or ramble on like a zombie, that would be why, because I didn't get very much sleep last night. I don't know if it was the dinner we had or what, but I had some awful dreams, and I don't know, I woke up ill, nauseated because of what I had dreamed. It was pretty vivid, so we're not gonna like go into discussion as far as what the dream was about. It was just suffice it to say it was awful. So yeah, I've been up since 2. And I'm already getting kind of foggy-eyed, but I figure I better go ahead and do a bit of streaming this morning um, so that we don't actually miss today. The reason I didn't stream earlier was obviously I didn't want to wake up my husband because, while I was having trouble sleeping, he wasn't, so didn't, want to disturb him. And even though the rooms are separated, I can be kind of loud when I'm chatting. So, good morning, Bones. Thanks for joining. So yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning, up, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, but it is quickly draining out. I'm probably going to end up sleeping most of the afternoon, if not more than that. As you may have noticed yesterday, I wasn't online. Well, I was online, but not on the stream. And that was mostly due to my son being home ill. Apparently, he's got a little touch of the flu. Yeah, Bones, I'm up early, period. Anyway, he's got a touch of the flu, so he's homesick today, but he's currently still sleeping, and I don't plan on waking him up or anything. We thought maybe he might try and go into school this morning if he was feeling a little better than yesterday, but hubby said, just let him sleep. We've got permission from his doctor to keep him home if we wanted, so we'll go ahead and do that. Just give him a extra long weekend to kind of recoup so he can be ready to go next week. So, reminders. I know there's something I'm supposed to be mentioning, and I kind of forgot what it was. And I got like so many notes on my desk, it's just beyond nuts. I do know I want to mention again about the Humble Bundle that's been the promotion that's been going on. I noticed a few guildmates and a couple other people, like in the circle chat that I belong to, and some other places, all raving about the decor that are in the Humble Bundle. Just a reminder, the decor that's in that are actually already available in the game. You can get them straight from the housing vendor. If you type in taco, you get the taco now. It's in game. They are not exclusive to the Humble Bundle Jump Starter Pack. I think the only thing that is perhaps if you want the early access to housing. I think there's the little, I don't know, teleporter thing that allows you to gain access at level 3, and the hoverboard. I think that's exclusive as well. But as far as the decor goes, all the bramble bushes, that decrepit couch, and all that, the granite lights and stuff, that's all already in game. So you don't have to get yourself multiple bundle packs or try and seek out codes so that you can get multiples of the decor. They are actually part of the vendor. They have been for about a week now, I think. As well, I believe Nilia's group, their Holy Housing Cupcake or housing, I think it's Holy Housing Cupcake or something like that. They actually did another house tour stream. I guess it was yesterday evening. Yes, yesterday evening. They had meant to do it the day before. I think it was scheduled to do it after their raid on Wednesday, but they had some issues with some of the hosts, and ended up postponing it until yesterday evening. I only got a little bit of time in to kind of watch a little, bit the front, but as far as I know, they were on Entity Dominion side last night. So if you're interested in checking out some of those homes, be sure and uh, hit up on her stream channel. It's linked on my Twitch channel page in the housing streamers section. I don't know. I assume the plan is that they will be streaming once a week. I think there was word that they were going to do it every Saturday, and then it kind of switched, and it hasn't really been consistent yet. So it's just going to be kind of follow their Twitter feed, I guess, and hope that you can catch it. While some of my stream days are a little sporadic, I do try to stay pretty regular. It's helpful when you have folks counting on when you're going to stream it and all that kind of stuff. But I'm sure they'll get all those kinks ironed out as they get more and more into it, because they're just starting out. So, yeah. Let's see. We're on my alts plot, celery. You can see that I've changed it up a bit. It was kind of, I think it was the Far Side Moon ground, and I've changed it to the Celestion, because we're going to be talking about springtime stuff. And that encompasses Easter and just spring in general, that kind of thing, because I'm looking to possibly do a little kind of a hands-off guild event, if that makes sense. So you'll notice that I've moved the bingo hall and the swimming pool. It used to be over here, and I've just linked it all together and just pushed them off to the back here. I also got rid of all the snow stuff, the little Santa sleigh and the log cabin and everything. I do have set saved for like the igloo and everything and the log cabin and stuff, but I just decided to get rid of all that for now. So it's still available, it's just I don't have it out right now. I would mention that the set codes that I sometimes talk about, like with the paintings and stuff, from what I understand, the set code, when you want to share it with somebody, say you have a set of furniture or some kind of little build that you want to give to a buddy, or if you build it on your main spot and you want to switch it over to an alt, there is an item limit. I think it's limited to like 200 items, so it has to be 200 items or less. So it's not like you can save a set of your entire plot, say it's like 3,000 something items, and then send that code to somebody else, because it'll cut it off. It only does it a little bit. So that's kind of good and bad. I mean, I guess it's a little cumbersome if you want to build a plot for somebody, maybe on a different faction or a different region. You can't just give them the code for that. You can be roommated and have the set saved on your list and do it that way. That will work, but you can't give them the code in a little email or something. But with like 200 or less for like the paintings and other things that we've seen, that will work fine. Time for springy celebration. Yeah, celebration. That's just bad. Bad pun. Anyway, so with that in mind, with the upcoming spring kind of boom, we've already seen some hints that WildStar has some spring decor that is possibly up and coming. I mean, it's in the decor shopper as a preview already. We saw it before with the extra white picket fences and all of the little flower bed things that they've got. And so a lot of people are speculating that they're actually going to have an actual springtime event. Whether that has to do specifically with Easter kind of holiday or what, I don't know. But since, if you're going to put something together, be it for just the build to have it coincide with a particular holiday or a season, or if you're going to do like me, try and set it up to have an event for your guild, you have to do that pretty far in advance. You can't really wait till the week before, because sometimes you have to collect a lot of the items that you may need to use to build stuff, or you just are kind of not sure what you want to build in the first place, and you just kind of need the time to kind of plan it out and try different ideas and see what works and what doesn't, that kind of thing. Now, usually when I say I'm holding an event on a plot, I don't do like terribly interactive type of events. Usually I'm setting a scene. It's like a backdrop so that, when the guildies come and sit, they feel like, they're in the right kind of setting, like with Shades Eve or with the Valentines and that kind of thing. But for Easter in the past, I've done an actual kind of sort of interactive thing where I've hid stuff that they had to go and find. And to prove that they found it, they'd all take screenshots. And for those of you that are wondering about, different ideas of, what can we do on a plot besides, just word games or chat kind of stuff or karaoke things on the TeamSpeak or whatever, an Easter hunt is a good, thing to try. I did it before with just pillows. I didn't get all elaborate with making different kinds of egg shapes and stuff, because at the time we really didn't have a lot of choices in materials. And I wasn't clever enough, I guess, to kind of come up with stuff. But today we're going to talk about egg shape stuff and maybe some like tent decorations and things like that. So first, I think we'll talk about, for the event that I did before, is what I did was I just took various pillows. I showed them, the pink pillow, the purple pillow, and all that. And I took an existing plot that I had and I just hid them in places. Some were a little bit more visible, like there'd be this patch of green grass and there'd be this bright pink pillow sitting in the middle of it. Not really hard to find. But others I would kind of be tricky, like I'd have a bookshelf with a lot of books on it, and then I'd have a pillow like the striped one, kind of leaning in like a pillow and shrunk down small, so they'd have to kind of notice, be looking and paying attention to all the details of the home. And they seem to enjoy that, but this year I think I want to get a little bit more fancy, so I'm going to try and actually make some Easter eggs using various things, but to try and make it look like an egg shape. Now we do have eggs of a sort. We have the pulsating egg, of course, which might be a bit of a giveaway because it moves and it's rather brightly colored. Then you have the more pastel colored eggs of the scug and spider variety. You could go with these if you want to, whenever you do like a hunt and find kind of thing, you want to be sure, and if you're going to use an item that they're looking for, try to make sure that that's the only place you're using it. Because like say you use pillows for the items that you want them to find, but then you're also using pillows in some of your regular decoration, it can get confusing. You'll either have to be specific about, say, well, the pillows on the couch don't count, or just make sure you use pillows that you don't use anywhere else. So picking an item that you're going to use is important in that way, so it's easier to kind of, for them to recognize, hey, this is something that will count toward my hunt or whatever. So yeah, I'm wanting to use this plot as kind of an Easter egg hunt area. That's why I've left the clutter visible, because it provides a little bit of hiding foliage that I don't have to add myself. I'll be adding some other things later on, but I definitely wanted the clutter there because that's just extra hiding places that I could use to my advantage. Now you'll notice I left this log here. I was contemplating using it for some of the construction of some of the stuff I'm thinking about putting out, so I just left it for reference, so just kind of ignore that. ignore that for now. So a tent. When I think Easter egg hunt, you usually see like this large park and there's like tent features. So we're going to see if we can make one of those. Now I did try the Oran tent, and the main issue with that is it has collision problems. It doesn't allow you to go inside the tent. No matter how big it is, there's a barrier that won't allow you to go in. It doesn't matter if you have it upside down or whatever. I had considered just using it as like a topper to a tent. So I would have, raised it up and then extended it down. But it just seemed kind of silly to do that, like I was forcing it. So, whoops, I decided we would just construct one as best we can. So there we have the drapes. And we have white and red, and I decided white would be best for me. They're, from what I remember, see, yeah, they're not terribly cheap. So this isn't something for just your beginner builder. If you're kind of, unless you have a friend or some other really luscious way of making cash, like it's coming off the trees or whatever. But for generally speaking, most beginner players probably wouldn't have, a stack of gold to spend on this kind of stuff. So this isn't really necessarily something that beginner builders would like to do, because it is a little expensive, 2 gold, pop. But since I have the funds that I can kind of go hog wild with, I'm going to use the white drapes. So first off, I always like to start building with it square. It's probably not the right term to use, but I say that. So just so that all of the angles are 0, 0, 0 from the start, and then I'll just start building from there. So first, I'm going to start with the roof of the tent. So I'm going to try and figure out about the angle that I want to use. So I'm going to put it at like 20. And well, where does it? Try that again. And then just going to try and get it to be the same on the other side. So there's like the top. I know there's a lot of bits sticking out, but we'll see how that looks later. We'll just kind of figure it out. Gonna go ahead and pull up my set manager. Now you'll notice I got a couple of saves in here, and they're mostly full plot saves, but all the rest of it I've cleared out. Let me try and explain how I did it, so that if you decide you want to do that, because I got tired of clicking like through 50 different sets just to get to the latest one. So I've cleared out my set manager. But I have all of the sets saved on Word files. And the way I did that is, I'll show you here. Let's see. Let's link these two together. We'll make a set from these. We'll just say link set. We'll say roof, just quickie sake. So I'm going to do as I usually do and do a reload UI to make sure that it is saved to disk and working as intended. So we got the roof. say I want to get rid of this in the set manager, but I don't want to uh, lose the set entirely. So what I did was I opened up the set that I wanted, and then I hit the sharing button, and that brings up the code for that. And you just click it, and then you hit Control C for copying, and then you just paste that into a Word document and then save that. You know, I gave them each a name so I'd recognize what it was for. And like I said, you can only do up to 200 items from what I understand. So anything, you know, always check how many items is in your list. So these ones here, I wouldn't be able to do because that's like 2,700 there. So that's way too much. You'd have to break it down into, you know, smaller sets to be able to do that. But what you do is, you know, you have the code there, you copy it, you paste it, you save it in a Word document, and then you can just say clear, and we'll reload UI. And so now the set that we had earlier is gone. But say, you know, a month from now I decide, hey, I want that set back in so that I can use it. Then you just click on an empty set. Then you say sharing, and you paste the code that you already copied before, and then you say import, and there you have it again. Sounds simple, but you know, until you do it a few times, it feels a little clunky. I mean, you know, you don't want to mess it up, and you know, you get kind of worried that maybe you might not import it correctly, but it should show up if you import it correctly. You know, you've got the code saved in total and everything. It should show up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many items you've got, and it'll be right there. And you just give it another name, and close, reload UI to make sure it's saved to the disk, and it's going to be on your list from here on until you remove it again. And /Caltia to bring it up again, and voila, you have your setback. So it's one way to kind of keep things a little organized. I'm very big on lists. I have like, don't want to see my folders. I've got like folders within folders within folders because I'm so hyper organized on, you know, I have like a WildStar folder, and then inside that I've got a division for Guild and Twitter and Twitch and housing, and then within housing I have sections for screenshots of other people's homes, screenshots of my homes, um, idea things that I've come up with that I, you know, might want to try next time. And then within each of those is, you know, if I've got the section for my screenshots, then it's, you know, which plot is this plot, that plot, this character, that character. It's just crazy. So now I have a section for just set codes, and I've got them divvied up. Like I've got holiday items, I've got furniture section, I've got paintings, so I've got all my paintings listed down there. So it just clears up space on here, and it makes it where I don't have to click through 50 different sets just to get to the latest. That was the main thing that I wanted. Now, I know she's intending or was working on a way we could just kind of, either it would sort it so that the latest one is at the beginning, or you could just type in the number and it would call up the set. But this works just as well for me. And again, it's a little bit more organized for myself. So, but yeah, that was just a kind of a quick example of how to do the set code stuff. Anyway, so we have the roof set, and I'm going to place all in link. And then just to make sure I'm moving it right, I'm just going to, oops, I said I'm going to move it right, and then it just didn't work it right. I think for whatever reason, these curtains, the handles work a little weird. So it looks like I would be moving it up and down, but it moves, if I click the red one, it moves it side to side. Isn't that odd? I don't know why it does that. So I'm going to just extend this out maybe by another 3 or so sections. Again, I'm just eyeballing the distance. If you want to get really, whoops, I tried to click the wrong one again. If you really want to get specific, you could do it individually each side and have it use the difference tool, and you could space it out exactly, but I'm just going to kind of wing it here. I'm just making sure, mostly I'm just eyeing for a gap here. Don't want a gap. If you don't like that your little ripples or whatever are the same, you could flip every other one so it's a little different. Oh, pardon me. It doesn't bother me though. So place all on link. I think one more set. Okay, so that's the roof, sort of. So now what I want to do is I want to link all of this together so that I can move it up and down however I need to. So just, I'm going to take each other set and link it to the first set. Now, if you can remember what parents of each sets you have used and all that, then you could later individually unlink each set. If you don't want to unlink everything, you could just unlink certain sections of it, but I tend to forget. And I end up, you know, like say I'll move this and then I'll want to move just one of these and I'll end up unlinking the whole shebang because I'm doofy that way, but so I'm just going to raise this a bit. For now, and we'll decide if that's a good height in a bit. So I'm going to take a copy of this little beauty, and I'm going to turn it like so, just making sure it's all nice and square. And then I'm going to, that looks all right, I guess. And then I'm going to link that one to the main bunch. Now, if you don't mind the little bits like that, that's fine, but I think I'm going to see how bad that looks. Maybe I'll enlarge it a bit. But I don't really like the little ruffles showing. A little bit bigger, I guess. That might play in our favor. So we use fewer bits that way. Might be good. I think that'll be all right on the 1.6 size. Notice when it's copying it offsets a little bit that first time. Now I do know that they're moving, but the movement's so slight, I'm not terribly bothered by it. For others that might be an issue, but for me I think it's all right. That is something to take into consideration, though, when you're putting together something like this. See, I wonder if I should tuck that back in. Maybe I pulled it out too far. I prefer it that way, or I don't know. We'll just leave it like that. I think that's right. So then I need to copy this. Now I could have just moved it straight over. That would be fine. But I'm just gonna over this way. Just flipped it. Totally up to you if you wanted, you know, I could have just drug it straight across and kept the big fat end matching. Wondering why that one seems lower on this side and through there. Let me see. Now, see, didn't it look lower? It might be because of the way I turned it. I don't know. Oops. And into the curtain there. See, it doesn't act like it want to line up anymore, does it? Try it this way. Maybe it's just me. Hey, Maddie, good morning. Okay, so let's check where these are positioned. Out there. Just make sure they're all the same. Yeah, it's like this thing turns weirdly. Because even this is kind of going off a little bit and it shouldn't. I don't know why it's doing that. Oops. I don't know. But it's good enough for me. Now, it might be a little on the tall side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to link all these up and we'll push it down a little bit. I don't want to push it too far because then it looks kind of too flat looking. Thing. Where do I need it? There we go. Something like that feels about right. I mean, it's still pretty tall and big, but I think it'll be all right. You know, I want people to feel that it's, you know, pretty out there. Now I'm leaving both ends open because it's supposed to be one of those, you know, weird little party tent things. This would be where maybe I have some tables with food items or some stacks of chairs for those that want to have a place to sit. Now that I have it, well, crud. Now that I have it made, Yeah, there we go. It's so weird the way it turns funny. Oh, for crying out loud. So it's the green one and then the red one. The green and then red. There we go. Green, 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 green. Just kind of turning it a little bit. I don't want it to be square, I just want it to be kind of off a little bit. Place that before I mess it up. Like right here. And I'm making sure that I put it where there's little short grass around it. So there's one little party tent. You could try different shapes. If you want to try a round one, you could do that and make a tent. Let's see. Ugh, drive me bonkers. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. I've encountered that issue with the arrows not matching the direction it's supposed to. I don't know what it is about it. See, now it works fine. I think it might be something to do with when you switch from object to world, it kind of forgets every now and then. It's just odd. So if you have that trouble, just kind of maybe switch it back and forth real quick and maybe that'll sort it out. Hopefully. We don't know. Okay, so we're going to start with one in the center here. And then we're just going to now when I do a round, I always start with the big angles first. So I do like the opposite. And then I'll probably do this one here. So it's at 90. And I'll do this one over here. And then I start doing a little different. It might end up where you end up using more items than you may have. I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So like if you know the angles that would get you the 2, you might could get away with using just 2 here. But knowing me, I would probably just start off with the one that's right in the center and then fill in the 2 gaps. So that's an extra one, but that's just the way I do it. That's how I keep it straight in my head. Theoretically, you could leave it just where there's the gaps and maybe put some wood structures in if you don't want to make a full cloth top. But it's just your preference on how you want to do it. Because I think you could probably get away with just 2, one here, one here. You might have a little bit of a gap, but you could probably find a way to hide that. But for me, I'm just going to go ahead. Again, it's a little bit on the expensive side. But if you can kind of ignore it on pricing, then I think it comes up with a nice look. It almost looks like roses up here, doesn't it? I think that's a pretty way. How come I play on EU server? Well, I live in the EU. That's one reason. Convenient. I mean, everybody that's on EU has basically more or less the same hours. So, I would assume those that are NA would play on NA side. Now, it's not always the case. Some prefer, they've made friends with folks across the seas and want to play with them, so they arrange it where they can play together. But like I said, hours can be kind of odd. And I think there's the issue with, is it ping? Is that the word, ping? Where like the information, it takes longer to talk to your computer or something, and it makes it tougher. So like if you're fighting something and you go to, maybe it's giving you like a spell and you don't notice it until it's already too late. I think that has to do with it. I don't know if it's necessarily lag. I think it's something to do with ping. I don't know. Well, originally I was from the States, but I live in Belgium now, so. Okay, did I already make a no, I don't think I did a duplicate. Now you'll notice I'm just kind of guessing about the angle that it should be. I don't know if these are exact angles. It's just, it looks kind of centered to me, so I pick one and I kind of make it even so it's easier to copy around. But, again, the math people would probably have a better time at this, making it all precise. So I just picked 23. That might not be exactly accurate, but yeah, ping or latency, one of those. Oh, you were asking because I'm like speaking English and I don't have an accent or whatever? Is that what was the curiosity? It's like once someone figures out I'm in Belgium, they're like, start speaking that Flemish to me, and or Dutch. They'll say Dutch, and I understand it. I can read most of it, but I respond all like Yoda. I get the tenses wrong and the order mixed up. So yeah, well, like I said, I'm originally from there. I'm from the Bible Belt, so I might even have a bit of a southern drawl. Let's see. We'll just put that at 114. So you can see it's kind of expensive, but I like the look of the design up here. It looks like a rose. Might not look so pretty underneath. It's not too bad. Look at that. It's a pretty design. Sometimes when you do stuff like this, you get some unexpected nice bits like that. It's like when I was making the dome for my plaza, it's like I had no idea it was going to come out like it did. It just happened to work out that way with the design that it ended up with. And it made it look like I knew what I was doing when I really didn't. I never do. I wing it so much. It's probably not a good thing to admit, but I do. As you notice, the round one is taking a lot more pieces to make, and we're only just doing the top so far, so, caution to your pocketbook there. I think it was actually a different number, but close enough. Yeah, it's looking well, crud. I don't think I placed that one. Looking kind of nice. There we go. One more for the top. Okay, so there's the top. Now you could just put stilts in, use some white picket fence stilts if you just want to. How's WildStar doing at the moment? Only just joined the game. From my perspective, it's doing well. Obviously, any game can do better. There's always room for improvements, not just talking the game itself, but you know, population-wise and all of that. But for me, it's going great. But you know, depending on, you know, I don't really get into the rating scene much. I'm content to spend, you know, days in the housing, so I'm probably not the best person to ask on that because there's likely other people that have a differing opinion when it comes to that. Um, so I'm going to link this all together, and we're just going to see if the little radius thing works nicely. It should. You can see that the radius is right about the right size as is. So we're going to make sure I've got the right one in sight. We're going to link it. Fingers crossed it works. And there we go. Like pretty as you please. Oh, it doesn't want to. I don't know why it does that. It's so strange. It doesn't like. So I'm going to kind of put it about the same height as the other one, sort of. And then since we already have these kind of sized about right, we'll just copy one of these over. Fluffy UFO. Yeah. Well, you know, it could be a ballerina skirt for an NPC that you have on your plot. I could see, you know, it could be a dress. It could be a hat. I might use this for a hat design, actually, from my shop. It could be so many things. It could be a fancy bowl if you want to flip it over and do it that way. It's an expensive little doodad, but you know. Well, I actually visited a plot. I can't remember which one it was. It might be one that we'll be viewing this Wednesday. They had a UFO on their plot, and they had a little WildStar. It had like a spotlight and a little WildStar floating up. But yeah, this is, it's one of those things you could probably find a lot of uses for. It could be a lampshade. I think this would. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to use this as a lampshade and a hat. A hat, and I don't know. I'll think of something else. I don't want to open up a clothing store. I think I've already got plenty of different. I don't know. Maybe I'll make it jewelry, clothing, and have that as a dress. I'll make a dress out of it because it looks like a tutu to me, like a little skirt thing. You know, maybe the flare needs to be aimed down a little better, but if I don't know. It just the things you can come up with crack me up. So I'm just going to start eyeballing this to get this filled in. Now, again, I'm only going to do parts of it. Since it's a round one, I may go ahead and encircle it all the way except just one end. But we'll see. Well, welcome everyone. I'm glad folks are enjoying watching. You know, most of the times when we do these little, I call them like little workshop brainstorming kind of things. I really don't have a big plan in mind. I just start mushing things together. That's really how a lot of ideas, things that I've made in the past, that's how they come about. I just tinker around with items. You know, you get an item and you look at it from all angles, you turn it around, you enlarge it, you just kind of look at the textures and everything and just say, what does that look like to you, and go from there. And it's really tough with fabrics because we don't have a lot of really nice fabric fabric type decor. I mean, we have the shirt and the bra and the towels now, but there's only so much you can do with a lot of those. And like I said, even though the curtains are moving, um, it's slight enough where I think you can kind of get away with it. Let's see, a little bit more, I think. Again, this is not a cheap thing to build. $2 per curtain. You might even, you know, if you want to venture in trying the one, this is the just like the half drape. There's also the one that's split. You might get a different design out of that one using it. In fact, I'm sure you would, but I don't know if it would be better looking or worse, or who knows. But with, you know, springy, Eastery type events, you're thinking whites and pastels. Um, Granted, we don't have a lot of that type of decor. You know, don't either you go stark red or it's bright purple or kind of bright green. So when you're able to use something like this kind of a pretty, I mean, you could have maybe used white picket fences to do this instead. I think it would take a considerable amount more, but it is craftable. So that might be more convenient for somebody else than to purchase all of these. So I'm trying to decide how much of this I want to enclose. I think we'll go one on this side. All we're doing right now is just trying out different little tent styles. I might keep both. I might say I prefer this one and scrap the one. Yeah, I think that looks okay. You know, maybe that's you know, maybe this is a food thing and this is where the stove and everything is, or something. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to figure out which one I used as the set parent and start linking it in. Technically, I could link these to any of these and it'll all be linked in together, but I prefer trying to keep the same parent for everybody. That's just me. I will probably misclick eventually because, I mean, it blends in so well. Easy to misclick, but I'm going to try my best to keep it all the same. Okay, I think that's all of it. Yes. Now, what button is the right button? Is it the green one? Oh my gosh, we got it right. And then I think the up and down ones pushes it. Yep. So let's here. I'm aiming for this location here. Now I turned it, so now I'm gonna have to find the parent again. Crud, forgot about that. There we go. There's the mama. Okay, so I want to move it to the left, so nope, that's not it. The one, yeah. Okay, so that's a good spot. I may end up moving these even more, but just to kind of set up a little, I'm looking for like a little gathering area where this is where everybody would start out, and then of all of the eggs will be hidden elsewhere on the plot. Okay, so that's some tent ideas, but we also kind of want to dabble in egg ideas. Now, for anyone that might have dug through some of my old videos, I can imagine, Bones. What always irked me is when I work with glass, I'll end up wanting to move something behind the glass, and then I have to move the glass because I have to reach, and you can't reach through the glass, and it's like, and then if you're working with multiple layers, I am impressed by those that can make really intricate designs with their windows, because that frosted effect on some of the overlapping glass, that can be kind of tricky if you kind of forget which way, if it's above or below, and it gets all mixed matchy. What did you use, a plant? I don't know. I tend to try and pick the front item. If I had been thinking ahead, I would have, started on the side and used this as the parent. But since I kind of started wonky, that's just how it turned out. But anyway, if any of you have dug in through my past really old videos, you might have come across the Fabergé egg CBDC, the custom built decor challenge. Something I used to host regularly with my guild, but have since ceased that for now because due to lack of interest and all that kind of thing. But when I was trying to decide how to build like a Fabergé egg, I was thinking decorated egg, but it also kind of come out to be like a jeweled egg, so it made me think of Fabergé, so that's why I used the term. But I discovered that the Hugel statues are a pretty good egg shape, and that's what I use as my base. It's a little longer than a typical egg, but if you just kind of tuck it down into the ground and then build around it, that is a good starting shape. What I did was I think I sandwiched two of them together so that I had nice smooth surface on both sides, and just ignored the little bit where the Hugel's little eyebrows stick out. And then later I removed the Hugel pieces themselves, so I had this empty shell, but it was decorated with windows and other little pillows and doodads, just kind of in a pretty design. I'm looking for kind of similar things. Like I said, you could use the scug or the spider eggs if you just want to make it cheap and simple. But since I'm aiming for something a little bit more intricate, I've been trying to think of things that I could use as like egg bases and then be able to decorate those up. So the Hugels are one. The only issue with them is they are that drabby gray color, gray-green. For other uses, it's perfect color, if you're using it for like ground, stone, hills, that kind of thing. But other egg-shaped stuff, I think the snowy clump would work. The only issue with it is on the flat side on one side. Let me just enlarge this up so you can see it better. But if you sit it up straight and take a look at it, if you turn it just a little bit, it looks like an egg shape to me anyway. I mean, it's a little not perfect, but it's close enough where I like that. In fact, this is what I used for my penguin when I did the little winter thing. So if you're curious about that, that's where that idea came from. So what I would do is just double it up and make it so that's a little bit more thicker. Yeah, you're going to have the seam to contend with, but if you can get past that, it might give you a nice kind of eggy shape a little bit. If you're just looking for, like if you're going to do like a decoration on the wall, like have like egg shapes, you know, like egg wallpaper or something, then just the flat would be fine. But if you're looking for a three-dimensional kind of egg, doubling up would probably work best. Unless you want to do like they're cardboard eggs and you just prop them up and it's like little one-sided egg decorations. You could do it that way. That might be easier. In fact, I was thinking that might be the way I end up going just to make it simpler on myself. So yeah, but we'll play with this one as a three-dimensional one. What else could we use? There are some other stones, but like the swirly rocks, but they're a little bit more misshapen, so I don't know how nice they would be. You might could get away with putting two of these together. This one for sure is a little too pointed, I think. But you might can get away with, let's see if we can do this. Turn this right. A little weird. This is going to be a really bizarre looking egg. But you can see what I mean by you have to really kind of start out with a good shape to begin with, because trying to force an item into looking like it, it's going to be really weird. It almost looks like one of those floating rocks. It's a little too oblong for me. But you know, if you're looking for a stone egg, that might work. Not for me though. The only other items I came across that might can work, which I'm going to try, is the mushrooms. Or she doesn't have any, but we'll buy a couple. Now, the main thing is you won't be able to get them to meet up squarely. You'll have a bit of a gap in the middle, but I figured we could find a way of filling it in so that it looks all right. But you'll see what I mean here in a second when I try to sandwich this together. I'm going to buy a duplicate and I'm just going to flip it. And you'll see what I mean. See how the stem pokes out? I'm going to have to push it in far enough so that it doesn't show, but you still get that eggy shape. See how that's a nice eggy shape? But you'd have to kind of come up with a way of filling in the gap. And of course, I'm going to try my best to make the round part a little bit more even. A little awkward, but maybe I just need to turn it. Oh, let's by the. Oh, for crying out loud. Maybe if I turn it this way. I like it that way better. Anyway, so then we'd have to find a way to kind of fill in the bits, and that could be part of the design. Maybe you use pillows. You could use what kind of pillows we got here, like the round one. Just make it fat enough to kind of fill in the gap, and that might work just with the one, or maybe you use several. You know, really just a matter of figuring out what works. Like a egg burger. You can see it's not perfectly round, so it's going to be a little lumpy here and there, but you just keep tweaking it until you get it um, about like you want. If you need to, you could always just duplicate it, rotate it, and help fill that bit in that isn't as fluffy as the rest, like so. So now I have this nice blue purple egg. It looks so weird. Oh gosh. It looks crooked and bulgy. That's the problem with trying to get it nice all the way around. But you get the idea. You might could find something else. You might could just use a bunch of the mushrooms and just place them all together like let's do this. We're just gonna bring that one out, and then maybe you want it to be fully blue, so you just buy some more of the shroomies and shrink it down a bit. Do it this way, something like so. It's gonna be a little misshapen when you do it that way, because of the shape of the shroom itself. Maybe you could smooth it out a little bit by keeping it, matching the angle better. But you'd probably have to do that for every piece as you go around, since it's not exactly the same up and down all the way around. But it's an idea. And it'll get you some, interesting patterns with the yellow dots going around. Something like that. But you definitely couldn't sandwich them together because, like I said, the stems will pop through. You could try other colorful bits. It doesn't have to be pillows and shrooms. It could be, I don't know, maybe you want a cheese-filled one, or who knows. There's all sorts of things. But round items would probably work really well, like the windows, so you'd have a brown center. Trying to think of even the snow cones would probably work all right. You might have to use 2 per layer to get it rounded enough to go all the way around, but then you'd have like a white center with even some stripe kind of look going on, that kind of thing. Excuse me. I hear the water running, so my son must be up. I'm gonna have to go downstairs and check on him soon. But that's a pretty good start. I mean, I like the tints that we come up with, and I'll play around with some more eggy ideas. But my objective is to come up with um, a handful of designs that are easily, um, what do you call it, uh, manufactured. Like you can quickly, it's not like I have to grind up some of the items or craft a bunch of stuff or whatever. Just some things I can pull off of the housing vendor is ideal. I love the housing vendor because it's just handy. Um, and then I'm going to, like, say for instance, I wanted to use this design as part of it. I would probably, I can get the other, I would probably pick a design and then shrink it down and then just hide these little eggs all over the place. Replicated, there we go. I know my words. On a good day, maybe. Oh, I'm so bad about that. But I will be utilizing every part of the plot. I mean, there might be an egg just sitting right here on this little shelf or something. And there will be some on the interior. I may even change this doorway. I think there's one that's got litter on it. I think it's got like bottles and stuff, and like have an egg next to a bottle or whatever. I'm going to use the bingo hall and the swimming pool. I'll probably put a few out here. You know, Mike could. I'm probably giving away some of my hiding spots, but might put one like right in here. You know, even better if I can come up with different color designs so that if I'm putting it in the green, it looks more greenish, and then, you know, it's a little tougher to spot. Um, and then, you know, have a specific number. And of course, when you do a like little hide and seek thing like this, and this is true even in real life, so fair warning, because my mom learned the hard way. She did an Easter egg hunt one year and she forgot where she put them all, and these were real eggs. So eventually we started smelling some bad egg going around because we didn't find them all and she couldn't remember where she had put them. So if you do a little hide and seek thing like this, whether it's for Easter or for something else, always keep track of where you're putting the things so that you can easily find them later and you can more easily confirm if everybody's found them. So yeah, I'm going to come up with several little designs, and then probably the day before I plan to hold the little hunt, I will close down the plot to public. I will make it private. I'll hide all the eggs, and then I'll open it up. The plan is I'm going to open it up for a whole day with the eggs there, and that way my guildmates can come at any time that they want, and then they'll take screenshots, and that'll be their proof that they found all the locations, and everybody that finds all of the eggs will win a little prize. And hopefully, you know, they don't work in cahoots with each other, but because, you know, part of the fun and challenge is, you know, doing it on your own, but that's probably what my event is going to be. That's what I call a hands-off kind of event. It's something I set up well in advance, and then I just say, here, it's open, you know, come when you can or, you know, when you want, and then, you know, it gets tallied up later. It's not like I have to be there all day. It's not that I don't enjoy those type of events. It's fun, but it's hard to kind of match everybody's schedule up on a regular basis because everybody has their real life plans, in-game plans and stuff, and I just I aim for convenience over most everything else. You know, fun is a good part of it, but convenience is also a big plus. So, yeah. So probably next week we'll talk more about some of the other decorations we might do. Not just the tents, but talking like the tables. Are we going to use standard tables? Are we going to make our own tables? Do we want everything to be white? Or, you know, do we want to add some little decoration? You know, use some of the orangey stuff to kind of, you know, make it all flowery. Like I said, I know we've got some springish decor in the pipeline, but when it will become available, I have no idea. So I don't want to rely on that. I think when folks were working on their Shades Eve plots, they were really planning on using some of that Eve decor. And it was difficult to plan ahead of time because you really don't know what all was coming and how available it was going to be. Maybe some or a good portion of the spring stuff is only cash shop related, which I don't really get too much into. So I don't want to rely on that. It was just like with the Valentine's plot. I did all of that Valentine's stuff, all the hearts and everything. That's all my own brainstorms because I didn't want to rely on, you know, uh, expectations as far as what kind of actual Valentine decor we were going to get. And I'm glad I didn't because it ended up being the little Valentine pack was a cash shop item. And it was disappointing too because even if you wanted like a half dozen of those little heart pillows, you'd have to buy a set, multiple sets just to get the multiples of that, even if you didn't want all of the plushies. So just kind of a downside to that, but people will do what they want, and that's how I do it. I don't count on anything that I think might be coming. I just work with what I got, and for me, that's the best way to do it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of brainstorming for Easter stuff. I'm sure it gave some of you some ideas for your own stuffs. I'm definitely going to save this little skirt set. I'm going to call it the skirt set. And see about adding a couple of new items to the plaza later. We may do that next week even, just for fun. But we will be definitely revisiting the spring plot in the coming weeks as we add more and more to it. And hopefully we'll come up with some nice eggy designs that we can use for a nice Easter egg hunt that I'm hoping to be able to host. Again, I know this week we were really planning on getting some sneak peeks at the PTR, but that has been delayed. In fact, I don't think they even have an actual guesstimate anymore. I think it's still to be determined. So it's a little disappointing, I know, because we're looking forward to all of the new content that we're going to be getting, and I think it's safe to assume there's going to be some kind of decor that comes out of it, probably winter related just based on Arctera, the zone itself, but maybe some other tidbits. But as soon as that opens and becomes available to us, I will definitely be zipping in there and checking it out, and trying to get a hold of what I can, or at least find plots of others that have snagged some of it, and we'll showcase that to those that are interested. We do have the house tours that we're going to be continuing with. I think it's Dominion's turn next week. I already have, I think it's 4 or 5 plots in line, and so that should be pretty exciting. I know that there's, I think, 2 of them that the plot owners are busily trying to finish them because they know I'm heading their way next week, and I think they're hoping to put in some last details before I come take a look. But rest assured, if ever I come and visit a plot and it's yours and it's not done, it's usually because I think it's so awesome that I got to look at it even before it's finished. But I'm happy to retour it once you are finished, or say I missed something, like I have revisited tours that I missed the bunker house entirely, and I went back to check out the bunker house, to make it all complete. But yeah, it's not. I try to aim for houses that are done, but sometimes there just aren't that many that are finished that we haven't already toured. So, I take advantage of that and just say, hey, I know it's not finished, but it's still too awesome to pass up. We got to take a look. But yeah, Dominion's next week. As I mentioned earlier in the week, we are coming up on a milestone soonish. It's not really until mid-April, but I'm already in the works of planning out some ideas for giveaways and things for that. In fact, I'm in cahoots with the WildStar community team, trying to get a hold of some goodies from them. Um, I will probably be reaching out to them in the next couple of weeks just to confirm that before I post the announcement. The announcement's actually going to be posted probably in a few weeks, because I want some involvement from the community as far as the idea is we'll be retouring some of the favorites that we've covered over this past year. So yeah, it's going to be something that I'm hoping a lot of people will be interested in checking out and participating. I hate the whole, just come for the giveaway kind of thing, but I know there's going to be some that just do that for that. But I really want to encourage folks to kind of spread the word, because I'm not big on promoting myself. I don't stand on the top of the hill and say, look at me, look at me. I just stream because I find it enjoyable. But it would be good if more people are aware of it, because I think being able to see other work from other people is helpful in jarring ideas of your own. If you've been struggling with a jungle theme or a space theme or an Orany theme, and you look at someone that's done those type of themes, then you think, hey, that I don't want to do it exactly like that, but it gives me an idea for something that I could try for mine. And that's the biggest point for touring these places. Um, Probably just as important is to give the builders some due limelight, because while we do have those that post pictures and videos of their own plots or of their friends' plots, there's a lot of plots that you never hear from the builder. They're very quiet. They have it open to the public, but they don't go around advertising about it. And I just want to give them, my thumbs up, saying, this place is really worth a look. And so yeah, I'm really wanting to make this big milestone a special occasion. And so yeah, more on that coming soonish. In the meantime, we'll be here every week. Every Wednesday we do house tours alternating between the factions. It's just for Java EU. I'm restricting myself to the EU side, just simply because, one, I'm lazy. I don't want to open myself up to entity and all that. Plus, they're getting a lot of attention from their own people, so I don't think it's that necessary to spread my stream that far. But it's just, yeah, I don't know what my train of thought just kind of disappeared. Again, I'm kind of going on a few hours sleep, so forgive me on that. But so yeah, Easter stuff again next week. House tours on Wednesday, Dominion side for Java EU. And if I hear of any other kind of events and stuff going on, I will be sure and let you know. I know there's one that's coming up. It's not really housing related, but I will be promoting it a little bit, because it will be located on a housing plot that's pretty nifty. So, but in the meantime, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Good luck with your own projects, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.